In terms of your multi-sports background, you said that you played a bit of football in the past.
Mm.
How useful was that in terms of developing your goalkeeping?
Especially football. In fact, well, I mean, I used to do all kind of sports. I mean, football, tennis, athletics. Used to play basketball, cricket, just like literally loads of sports. But I guess most specifically with, I'd say football and athletics were the main two, and maybe a bit of tennis. It was well, tennis was hand-eye coordination, definitely tennis and cricket, but football and athletics was definitely footwork and just kind of the more physical side of goalkeeping. So with the athletics, it was like the power and the kind of speed. With the football, it was kind of the footwork and also because well, hockey goalkeepers aren't like football goalkeepers. They can't pick up the ball. They can't. Football goalkeepers, most of it's to do with their hands, while us, it is kind of from your knee downwards is your main area of. That's where you really want to be saving the ball most of the time. So I definitely say that football definitely helped with my footwork and just kind of foot-eye coordination as well. 100%.
I was chatting to Andre Boyce, the captain and goalkeeper of the Barbadian men's team, indoor and outdoor, and we got talking about being saying absolutely playing where he did on the cricket field. It helped with his hand-eye coordination. He says,
Yeah.
I, mean, yeah, I can catch a cricket ball. I want me to wear this big, massive glove hand pads. That's easy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the coaching in the West Indies, I think, is a bit different. It's very much sort of a freedom for children to go off and play disorganised sports, perhaps
Okay.
more so than there is here in for my generation and younger. Oh, so that which has positives and negatives. I mean, how 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 useful do you think a regimented coaching system is for such a specialized position of goalkeeping is? How useful do you think an unregimented
Yeah.
sporting background would be?
That's a question. I guess with with the regimented schedule, that brings benefits not only in hockey specifically, technically, but also in the person. So obviously, it teaches you kind of just the normal things, really, like you need to be on time, etc., etc. And with things like more kind of free roam, free form kind of training, I guess you don't really get that. And when you get to a certain level and you start to take sport quite seriously, you just have to have that schedule and that discipline in place, just or else you'll never really know what it is you're trying to improve on. Because once you get to a certain level, you need to start kind of honing in on the areas that you want to improve, making sure you keep topping up the areas that you're good at, etc. And it needs to be quite you basically yeah, you need to have a bit of a target and you can't really just go out and become a better goalkeeper. You need to say, all right, to become a better goalkeeper, I need to get better at this, 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 and this. To get better at this little bit, I need to do this and this. And I think it's too difficult to just kind of have this free form of um, training and actually improve from that side or that way. I think. I guess with the free form though, again, when you're younger, in certain sports and in certain positions, I think it's a lot. It's very beneficial. AKA football. That's why Brazilians are amazing at football. They literally play freestyle football. They'll play kind of in the streets, on the beach, everything, and it's proven. Even in Spain as well. Some of the best footballers in the UK, Phil Foden, grew up playing football just on the streets with his mates, and he's one of the best technically in the league at the moment as well. So I guess in certain sports and certain positions, it's definitely beneficial. But I think as a goalkeeper, you kind of do need that structure just because. I mean, if you take a goalkeeper to a goal and just put him in goal and fire loads of shots at him and not tell him what to do, just be like, look, we'll give you 100 shots each day. Don't get me wrong, they're going to get better, but not as targeted. And also, they won't improve as much if you kind of work on this skill, then work on that skill, then work on that skill, and then try and bring it all together, if that makes sense. So, definitely in terms of goalkeeping, I think it does work better when you've got kind of a more regimented schedule.
I suppose what we're talking about here is some people call it natural ability. For me, I think it's I think genetics can be separated from this. I think what we can, is a, a rough diamond. You can play a lot of disorganised things, become very very good. You probably won't get as many good players as you might with a mix of organised and disorganised.
Mm.
It sounds like what you were saying before of if you also have a multi-sports background, it gives you can create a better all-round athlete.
Yeah.
Am I understanding you correctly?
Yeah, yeah. I think if you well, with the multi-sport background, I think again there are lots of transferable skills as well. So, like with the football, that definitely helped with my kind of foot-eye coordination. The cricket definitely helped with the hand-eye coordination. I know some of the best hockey players in the world are amazing at cricket for a reason, because they grew up on cricket, turned to hockey, and they can hit the ball like an absolute train, literally. So, yeah, I think definitely that it goes both ways, really. Again, depending on the position, depending on the sports that you're playing, and yeah, going from that, really, it can really kind of it does depend.
Do you think a goalkeeper needs to specialise? A young goalkeeper with ambition. Do you think that he or she needs to specialise at some age, at some time?
No, I would even saying that now. I feel like I'm about to contradict myself and saying you need to do this and this, but no, 100% not. I think so me personally, I remember I only really specialized hockey wise when I was about 15 at Whitgift, and obviously that is quite young in the grand scheme of things. But I mean, even like an extra year playing rugby would have been quite fun, and an extra year playing a bit more football would have been quite fun, and definitely as well, it keeps you fitter as a person. I think you learn so much from playing sport anyway. The more sports you play, the more you learn as well. So I don't get me wrong, it's got benefits, and I mean, the earlier you specialize, the better at the sport technically you'll get. But when we're talking about getting to the top level, there's so much more to it than just your technique. Like there's your mindset, there's your mentality, there's kind of the way you treat your body physically as well, not just kind of how good you are in goal. There's the relationships you build as well. There's so much to becoming an elite athlete outside of just technique that needs to be considered. So, I mean, for example, me, I would never encourage a child to just specialize at 10 years old. Never, because they learn so much from playing other sports. And if you're good at something, don't get me wrong, play it more, but definitely keep the other things up as well. Because, and at some point, you'll start to resent it as well, especially as a kid. I mean, if you play too much of one thing and it becomes quite boring or etc., like that can happen very, very easily, and you'll start to resent it. And that's not what you want. At the end of the day, like we play sport because we enjoy it. So much rather that, you know.